Hello and welcome to yet another hot sizzling episode of Expressions khona la kunqa phambili SABC 1 Mzansi for sure. Sesiyayigoqa ke mbukeli inyanga kaNcwaba nokuyinyanga yabesifazane kuleli. So happy Women's Month. Mina igama lami nguAzaria wakwaKhoza.
Kodwa zange watsho kuMazaria.
Happy Women's Month, Kolosa.
Zange ndiyaqala utsho namhlanje kodwa ke ndiyakuxolela. Oh yes, mbukeli siyayiqukumbela inyanga yamanina. Uyaqonda ukhumbule kaloku mbukeli into yokubana empowering women is essential to the health and social development of families, communities and countries. Amanina kaloku eqiqile eqondile eqinisekile eqoshile, they can reach their full potential, contributing to their skills to the workforce and can raise happier and healthier children. Andisho Azaria?
Right, absolutely correct. Ayike mbukeli uKhorosa uqinisile ngempela. Ingakho lapha ohlelweni namhlanje ku-Expression namuhla we'll be looking at the importance of women empowerment. Ake sithathe uhambo ke mbukeli sibhekise amabombo esifundazweni saKwaZulu-Natal. Siyobona ukuthi ingabe umkhandlu kanye neezemvelo KZN Wildlife benza umsebenzi ongakanani ukuze kusimame izimpilo zabesifazane kuleya ndawo.
Sisiza ngokuthi siyokhincema sidayise la ekhungweni zomphakathi wangakithi. Kodwa ke sengibona ukuthi amacatha angisiza kakhulu ngoba ngiyintsha encane sengazama ukuthi ngithuthukise ngawo.
Ukuthi uma umuntu wesifazane ukwazi ukuzenzela izinto ngezandla, ukwazi nokukhona ukusebenzisa uhlele emakhaya, akuthi uma umuntu wesifazane uhlalele nje ungenzi lutho.
Siyababona labantu besifazane ukuthi bafike basika incema, bathathe boyiloka amacansi, bakwazi ukondla imindeni yabo.
Kubalekile ukuthi abesifazane basimame kwezamabhizinisi ngoba bazi ukulekelela imindeni yabo ifudumale ekhaya.
Uku-empowerisha abantu besifazane ngoba niyazi ukuthi i-population yase-South Africa balaleli isho ukuthi thina abantu besifazane thina sibaningi. So uku-empowerisha bona kusho ukuthi suke sakha isizwe. So mes-empowerisha abantu bala emakhaya ngokuthi benze imisebenzi yezandla kuzokwenza ukuthi ama-grants la uhulumeni abanika wona ne-maintenance abayithola kubakhonyana babo nakubantwana ilekelele ekuthenini bakwazi ukuthi baxoxe igadi eziko.
That's the topic esitha ngayo namhlanje, women empowerment through businesses. Sithi untsho ke kumanina apha KwaZulu-Natal emazweni inene nangenyaniso. Each time a woman stands up for herself, he stands up for the entire nation. To help me unpack this discussion up in studio, we are joined by Dr. Noma Mpeki, a businesswoman, motivational speaker who worked tirelessly to empower the women. We also have alongside her Sharon Tekhale, an award-winning businesswoman who runs one of the popular beauty franchises up in Mzansi. Ladies, happy Women's Month and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yazi kuyafudumala apha enkqubeni namhlanje kuyacaca into yobana we have the centers of the home. And Sharon, I want to start with you. I mean, you have built your own empire and we know that starting a business ayondlwane iyanetha. There's a lot oyidingayo into yobana uqale ishishini. You've started your business and I mean we are all proud to say that it's successfully running. Ndiyafuna uqonda kuwe into yokubana what does it mean to be a woman up in Mzansi Africa?
Thank you, Kalasa. I guess being a woman in this country means having self-expression and being empowered, and also just having a voice to speak out the difficulties that we face, that the challenges that we are faced with also. But also it's where we get to wear our crowns, you know, and being able to say that we are powerful, we are within the spaces, and we are also eligible to be counted worthy in business areas.
Yeah, we are within, Sipagati, inside, we are wearing our crowns, we are fixing our crowns as women. And speaking of crown, you are wearing your crown. unapologetically, Dr. Noma. And speaking of empowerment, I mean, you are from a province that is often overlooked, Iphondo laseZenzweni, Eastern Cape. I mean, it's called the home of legends, but Jonga, it's a dim world for you to shine because akoma thuba maninzi compared to upper eGauteng, into ezininzi ziqala apha eJoburg, zithi KZN, zifika sekukudala emakhaya. I mean, but you made it and you are a proof that possibilities are endless. I also want to know from you, besides dobana ubunina buthini kuwe, but all these businesses oziranayo yenzeke njani yonke lento?
Well, in my case, I believe that I've always had it in me because I grew up in a family of business people. My grandmother was a businesswoman, my grandfather was a businessman, and also my parents were professionals, but they were also engaged in business. So, and I believe that having started so early gave me an advantage. I started the business, to enter into business world from the age of 6 years old. I was that girl, Mina. Also tengisi sweet in the class, selling biscuits and making sure that I'm hustling while I am also studying. I had my first hair salon at the age of 14. My first property business, I went into that at the age of 19 years old. So I've always tried to, you said something about coming from the Eastern Cape, a land that seemingly seems to be disadvantaged. Yeah. I've always tried to create a framework that is bigger than the world where I come from because I believe that in life, we are the sum total of the thoughts of what we believe we can achieve in this life. So I've never allowed my environment to dictate. I've always dreamed further and much higher than what my initial environment allowed. And by keeping that dream alive and having vision in your heart of where you want to be past the circumstances of your exposure is very fundamental to enable you to have this fire that enables you to go further than your environment.
And you are proof that, you know what, I mean, a background yako does not determine your destiny. I mean,
exactly.
Yeah. That does not define me. And speaking of empowerment, I mean, Sharon, you work for the beauty industry. We know that, I mean, in this modern age, beauty, it defines as needs. I mean, there are women who don't feel beautiful enough. They would need makeup to cover up themselves. I mean, we're dealing with so many issues. I mean, now that you work in the beauty industry, I do want to understand, how do you use the industry to make sure that it's a tool for empowering women, you know, in communities?
I guess beauty, the beauty industry is not just about aesthetics. It's basically, like I said, self-expression and empowerment. Yeah. So the people that come into the store or to visit any place, they are feeling somehow. So you need to understand that you're tapping into an area where you're not just making this person just feel beautiful with their hands or makeup or hair, but you're touching the inner soul, what we call the husa when they come in. Yeah. So they're not only coming in to look beautiful, they're coming in because they have this thing that they have inside that they need to fill up. So they're coming in because they're feeling down, they could be going through stuff, they could be a lot of things are happening to women in this day and age. So when they come to our space, we try and do that. Fill up that cup so that they can feel a bit empowered. They can feel like they can take over the world again.
Yazi, nami khona some emptiness that I'm feeling. Can I come fill up?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Definitely.
Unga posisi on national television. I'm coming up and filling up and we're going to televise that.
Let me tell you why I say that. The reason I say that is because once you look a certain way, you feel a certain way. So it does something to the emotion inside.
That's
true.
So
I haven't just touched you and think about it. When you have
when
done
you
your
feel
nails,
good,
you look good.
Yes. And look at her.
Yeah.
I mean, look at yourself as well. I mean,
so
it's radiated, you know, I mean, positive frequencies. And one thing that people don't know is that you also own your own record label. I mean, that's quite impressive because, I mean, mostly, I mean, it's a male-dominated industry. Ungenile khona, waintombi yasemakhaya, Eastern Cape, into bana ubene record label. Yako, share with us, I mean, your vision behind that and how is it going?
So my vision for getting into that space was simply because predominantly influenced by where I'm from. If you would observe, most people from the Eastern Cape have to come to Johannesburg in order for them to get some form of expression or recognition. So it was very important for me, being a child from the Eastern Cape, to make sure that we bring services and align the people that have got brilliant talent, and to limit the level of exploitation by making sure that we provide a service that can expose people that are not necessarily able to possess those services easily. So what I did is I produced a record label to make sure that people from disadvantaged area, particularly disadvantaged individuals, a record label focuses on helping the disadvantaged kids from Amakaya to make sure that they're not exploited when they get here. So we have created that platform to empower them musically, make sure they're economically empowered, and they are not going to be exploited.
Power is the word of the day, Mbukeli. Ndiqalele ndathi whenever a woman stands up for herself, she stands up for the entire nation. These are the women that are proving that jonga xa ulinina ungenza nantoni na. Azaria will be with Unsiki Majuga on the other side. For now, masiqhwisi bhatala matyala qiniseka ugungqi. You're watching Expressions.
Welcome back. You're still watching Expressions right here on SABC 1. Uma ngabe usanda kungena Mbukeli namuhla lapha ohlelweni sikhuluma ngokubaluleka kokusimamisa abantu besifazane lapha kwelengabadi. And joining me right now is one lady who thrives in the world of fashion. She's a fashion designer and she runs a lot of charity events to uplift other young girls. Ntsiki Madegwa, welcome to Expressions this one.
Thank you so much, Azar.
Unjani? Before we start the interview, I just want to say, who run the world? Girls, right?
Yes, of course.
All right, so today on the show, we are talking about women empowerment. You know, you are a young businesswoman currently residing in South Africa. I just want you to touch base with me. Just tell me, do you feel empowered? Do you feel like we are sizega, especially on all the adventures that you go out to, especially when you're helping the communities as well?
To be quite honest, I don't get enough assistance, and I feel that the government is actually failing us as women in South Africa, because it's kind of, we're actually visionary and there's a lot of things that we need to do, but yet we don't get support. So that is a major challenge that we're facing. And then as women, I see a huge gap. We're actually dominating in South Africa, yet
Yes.
Without employment. And then even if you find that you'll find that our women, they actually have the jobs as So how do you raise abantwana without, because if you can do the research, you'll find that majority of women in South Africa, they are single.
Single mothers, yeah.
So this is a serious challenge that we're actually facing in South Africa.
And, you know,
and I think that if we can have more power, we can actually transform many lives in our country.
Ukhumbuleke Mbukeli ukuthi ungaba ingcenye yalolu hlelo ungasishayela ifoni kunombolo ethi 0117140631 inamba ikhona escreenini sakho njengamanje. And coming back to you Ntsiki, you know 51.1% of the population of South Africa are women, you know. So a lot of people, they feel like all the programs that are in place are not empowering enough for abantu besifazane, right? Do you agree?
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. Okay, so another thing that I wanted to talk about, I know that you do a lot of charity events when you're donating sanitary pads to young girls. So I wanted to speak about the period poverty in South Africa. When you go out there, uyohlangana nabantu, you know, ubona isimo sinjani, especially when it comes to young girls?
And ndiyibona isimo simaxongo kakhulu eSouth Africa. The poverty, the struggle is real, especially from less privileged backgrounds. I think I've worked with kids. I implemented a project 4 years ago during COVID. As we actually speak to kids, the struggle is real.
It's real.
It's real. Especially women. Imagine how do you go to school with no sanitary towels? And then yet we still need to look for boys which seem too behind to our communities. Yes.
Yeah. So I just want to also speak about self-empowering, because, you know, we are hammering so much on the government, saying the government is not doing enough. But I know that you don't suffer from abantu bazothini syndrome. You go out there and you push your brand, and, you know, but we find a lot of young people, they are suffering from this syndrome. But you go out there and you push your business. And just tell me a bit about that. What gives you the courage to usukume ubhukule njengomuntu wesifazane uzenzele business lakho?
I think I actually have a passion of working to male-dominated industry, but I was so deprived. Like where you see our societies, people, they don't believe in women. So when I implemented my project, I know that I wanted to show the boys what women can do in South Africa. And then I'm fearless because I think the Abantu Bazotini syndrome is the one that has destroyed our country. And then unemployment rate is very high. And if uzohlala endlini ngubani ozokuphala umsebenzi. And then developing myself, I think if you can actually even work voluntarily, I think as much as we saying education is a key to success, but yes, we need skills that can empower us so that we can actually be able to have our own businesses. Because like if you look to our schools, we've never been educated about how to make money or how to live without relying to employer. So our system itself is challenging us a lot.
So you just spoke of unemployment right now. We know that the rate of unemployment has skyrocketed. It's up there in the skies. It's currently standing at 33.5%. So do you think right now ukuthi abantu abasha baqale amabhizinisi wabo isisombululo for us to fight poverty?
I believe that starting our own businesses is the best way. If you can look back, our grandfathers, they were not educated. And yet, like, you go to school with no guarantee that you're going to have the job. So the skills, it's what we need the most to sustain our economy. And then, abantu abatsha like ibangoyi kubaba, I would actually start, I will make a simple example. You can actually undermine someone that is working on streets, selling I'm a keke. So if you can actually look that person in daily basis, how much is she doing?
Definitely.
You get my point. So like I would say, and then do whatever that you have because like we don't get funding. And then even if you actually work from but you do something.
Do something.
Yes.
Hayi ke mbukeli onendlebe uzwile uNtsiki uthi vuka uzenzele. Okwamanje ke sithi qu eyitolo siyabuya ungendawo siyabuya. This is Expressions right here on SABC 1.
Siphinde sikwamkele mbukeli usahleli nathi apha kwinkqubo ndaba oyithanda kakhulu i-Expressions and kaloku saqhubeka kaloku siyiqala siqonqotha inyanga yamanina. We still have Dr. Nomi Mbeki and Sharon Tikhale. Welcome back again. We are wrapping up this discussion. I wish we can go on and on and on because into endivayo apha it's pearls of wisdom. Dr. Nomi, before we went to the break, we are I mean, with your own record label, you know, what you aim to do is to protect artists from exploitation. I've seen several artists complaining on social media besisho into yobana hey khona umuntu ondithembisile wathi uzandifaka kwi-music industry nini sefuneke ngiqhale ezinye izinto. I mean, with the work that you do, what is your vision and how can we work collectively to ensure that amanina in the music industry are protected?
You are so right. You know, as I said earlier on, there's a lot of exploitation and there's a lot of misappropriation of talents, particularly when it comes to ladies. A lot of ladies have approached me personally and have engaged and expressed their distress in how it is that some of them were asked to do carpet interviews before they could sign their record deals. I think it comes from the cry that someone like myself was touched to say, a woman must go forth and make sure that we protect other women, to give them a fair expression of opportunities without necessarily allowing women to be exploited or compromise themselves to reach their goals. So King's Records services that particular purpose to make sure that we allow people to reach their full potential without necessarily compromising their values. It doesn't only go from that only. I just think in all our businesses, you know, we're involved in the property sector, we seek to do the same because that sector is also a predominantly male-dominated sector. So what we try to tell women is that you can do it. If you have a dream, you don't need to compromise your values in order to get to your destination because somewhere in between you compromising yourself, that thing will come and catch you and haunt you. Some people, because of compromise that they've done, they get so depressed that they discard their dream altogether because they've paid a price that's so high, they get into depression. So as women, we need to be an expression and models of success that says, Mina, I did it. And I want to encourage you, my dear, you can also do it. You do not have to drop something willing to be able to enter and succeed in this space. You are
love the
empowered
part.
to achieve your dreams. It's in you, you know. So I love the fact that you are an expression and embodiment of that.
Yeah, and I love the part, you know, where you mentioned, you know, Oguti, as a woman, you do not have to compromise your
Correct.
values. Because, I mean, 10 years, you'll be successful, you'll make it.
Yes.
But 10 years, you look back,
Exactly.
1, 2, 3. I
Exactly.
love that. And speaking about, you know, as a woman, we need to really be high-value women, and we must never negotiate worth yethu. When it comes to beauty, because you mentioned earlier, Uguti, it's all about, Uguti, you know what, zazi, ungumntu wesifazane. I mean, ndiyafuna uyibethelele kumuntu olinina ojongile ekhaya uqonda uba nam ndiyafuna uziqalela ishishini lam, but I don't know where to start. I don't have the facilities. I don't have resources. Ndifuna nje uphefumlela amazwi kubo.
Look, in the industry, there's training programs and empowerment educational platforms where these girls can go. And the aim is to empower them and so that they can be able to stand on their own. And also, we've created these platforms and educational systems so that they can also not go the traditional route of being employed, but also gain skill so that they can do it on their own. And another thing is that I also believe that businesses have a vital role that they can play to curb unemployment and poverty, you know, by contributing and by contributing to the economy. So we really have a vital role to play as businesses to curb this unemployment and poverty.
Once again, now Azaria, yeah, but thank you so much for joining us and sharing, you know, pearls of wisdom, and especially when now that's
Malbongwe igama labesifazane. All right, Mbukeli, siyabonga kakhulu for joining us namhlanje. Nani Ndathane is standing by on the other side. Bye bye.